Hi, everybody. Welcome to Code Breakers Live. Thanks so much for joining us this Sunday. I hope you're doing great, everyone. I see we've got the chat up. Hi, everybody in the chat. So nice to see everybody made it today. Okay, so a lot to get through today. I mean, wow, the things that I have discovered this week in connection to Dugan. And I really have to say thank you to Glenn Beck for being one of the only voices who has one of the only big voices who has spoken about this. Lou is making adjustments for me. Thank you. Um, and also, you're going to see, you'll see when I get onto my X page, Ryan Morrow as well is another one you need to follow if you are interested in what Russia is getting up to. And we're going to look at some prophecies today. And I don't even want to waste any time. I can give you some garden updates later. Let's just make sure we get to all of these. Well, I'm working on the garden. I've cleared it all out. I have not planted in the ground yet because I have to amend the soil. And so possibly I may not have to do much. I did test it. And if anyone's ever tested their soil, that was fun. But now I know what I'm dealing with, which is actually pretty good conditions for what I want to do. And so I do have some baby plants I've ordered, but I'm not quite ready to put them out into the ground. I'm a little bit scared for them. They're just babies. So I'm kind of babying my plants, which is weird. But I'll give you an update on that in a bit. And so, Lou, can we just go over to my X page? Let's start right there. I'm not wasting time today. We've got to look at this. Let's see, how am I going to do this? Okay. So we have, I'll start here at the top because I just posted this a little while ago. And then we're going to look at what Glenn Beck had to say. And we're just going to start there. So listen to my dad. Now, this is 2010. So this is before he prophesied the Fourth Reich from France. And he was seeing some interesting things in regards to Russia. Now, I know, let me preempt this by just saying this, okay? A lot of us on the conservative side have become immune to Russia when we hear Russia, Russia, Russia because of the Russia hoax. So because of the Russia hoax, it's like we're so sick of hearing about Russia. It's like, okay, I don't want to hear about Russia anymore. We've heard from the left. Unfortunately, Russia recognized that, and they've had what is a long-term plan. My dad prophesied that too. And so it's very, very important that we are diligent right now and do not allow ourselves to be put off when we hear Russia because of what happened with the Russia hoax on the left. Because Russia, unfortunately, is behaving exactly as my dad prophesied they would. And you're going to see how that is happening today. So let's play this first. Did you hear what my dad says here?
And so keep your eye on the royal family. Keep your eye on the Roman Empire.
Roman Empire, remember?
Because that's the first Reich. So if God's speaking about the fourth one, could it be that it wasn't quite as positive as what we thought it is, even though there'll be an outpouring of the Spirit, but possibly the revisitation of all these Reichs together, all opposed to Israel,
Yes.
all opposed to America and Antichrist.
Yes.
So now, does this sound bad to everybody? It sounds terrible. But, you know, if you look at us, we right now, Israel is in danger from a force that they've somewhat forgotten about. And like America with China and Russia, they are not our friends.
Yes.
Do you know yesterday China and Russia were playing the best friends? Yesterday, I don't know if you saw that, but China and Russia were playing the best friends. And China is not a friend. They're manipulating and they're lying laughingly to destroy America. So what do we say about that? China and Russia siding with the Middle East possibly. So we've got to keep our eyes open, and we need a moral compass in the United States of America.
Okay. So what did he say there? First of all, just because we're talking about Russia doesn't mean China's cool. Now, Dad saw, for instance, in the Esther prophecy, he said he saw agreements between nations, specifically China. And you'll say we never dreamed this could happen. He also saw, in regards to Iran, China pulling back, not being as supportive. But that does not mean that China is our friend. So I think that he was seeing Trump being able to manage that situation and perhaps make some deals as he does. So, very important to remember that. Now, what we've seen happen this past week is, as we discussed last week, the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum is having their annual event. And our favorite, Candace Owens, attended and spoke. And so Glenn Beck was covering this. Now, I'm not as worried. Look, I really don't want to get into a whole thing with about Candace Owens. I think that the way she's behaved is despicable. I think the way she's treated Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk's legacy is very wrong. But unfortunately, Russia is very happy with her because they are endeavoring at this moment to fracture the conservative base that got Trump elected, so that Trump can't keep doing what he's doing. And they're not going to come out and so much say that because they're crafty, very crafty. And they are manipulating the American public. They have been for a long time. And they're in cahoots with China and with the Middle Eastern countries, except Israel. So here's Glenn Beck. Now, I want to play this for you. It's a little bit long. I don't know how much I'm going to play of the beginning. So bear with me for a moment. Let's see. Yes, let's go ahead and play this, because I want you to hear Glenn explaining it. And I've been trying to explain this to you guys for a while, but Glenn did such a good job. I have 2 Glenn clips to play today, and so I want you to hear what Glenn had to say.
Activities in Russia with known intelligence and propaganda operatives. Torch insiders, we have to tip the hat to you because you were critical in unearthing the truth about her visit, but Candace Owens' suspicious trip to Russia is not actually the story. Her trip is just proof of the real story. And I'm not going to reduce this into a conversation about, her or anything else.
Sick of that.
You take that on your own time. I think the big story here is that one of the most followed conservative voices in America, Candace Owens, told her audience that she was going on vacation to Russia, St. Petersburg, Orthodox cathedrals, little faith tourism with her husband. Great, nothing wrong with that. Then we started hearing things, and the insiders started showing some things that were not comfortable. We turned Ryan Morrow onto this, and he did something really embarrassingly simple. He just read the program, looked at the facts, followed the breadcrumbs, and read the program. And there she was. She was listed as a speaker at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. That is SPIEF, S-P-I-E-F, SPIEF. This is the Kremlin's flagship event, and it's running this week, and this is the one where Vladimir Putin gives the keynote. Now, you scroll down that same guest list, and a few names down, you will also find a very dangerous man, a Russian philosopher named Alexander Dugin. She has now said she might meet with him, but she's speaking on the same stage as he is and Putin is. This whole thing, happens all the time. SPIEF. It's a hot spot for Russian intelligence. It's organized by the senior most levels of the Russian government. Top advisors and the first deputy director of the FSB, which is the successor to the KGB, are on the organizing committee. Investigative documents now show that SPIEF's activity, specifically including its panels, are, quote, recruitment pipelines for state-directed soft power programs. Read that as propaganda. And it's where they, and I'm quoting, enlist foreign influencers in projects such as media partnerships. The files state that the panel's particularly used for this purpose. Owens is on a panel filled with known Russian disinformation agents that are sanctioned by the U.S. and the EU. The story is what we found the second we started pulling the thread with Ryan Morrow, because the thread does not lead to Candace. It leads to someone else. A handful of really smart people spent an afternoon doing homework, and what they turned up wasn't gossip about, some podcaster vacation. It was a flare going up over one name, Alexander Dugin. And once you actually read who this man is, you understand why every alarm worth having started to ring. So let me introduce you to the most dangerous man you probably have never heard of or studied unless you're a longtime listener of this program. They call Alexander Dugin Putin's brain. Putin's brain. He is the philosopher of the Modern Russia project. He has been remarkably honest about the project and what it is. In 1997, before most of us had email, he published a book laying out how to defeat the United States of America without firing a shot. He wrote, Russia should encourage all kinds of separatism, ethnic, social, radical, and racial conflicts, and support isolationist tendencies in U.S. policies. Those circles who believe the U.S. should confine itself only to its domestic problems. Now, tell me that doesn't sound like a weather report for the last 10 years. Let me say that again. Russia should encourage all kinds of separatism, ethnic, social, and racial conflicts, and support isolationist tendencies in U.S. policy.
That's what we're seeing right now.
Those circles that believe the U.S. should confine itself to domestic problems. That is the story of what is happening with many of our podcasters on the right. In the last 2 years, that's it. That's the strategy. Now, I'm not saying you can't come to that on your with your own your own ideas and say, I didn't have anything to do with, but did you make that decision? Did you come to that? Or is this part of the propaganda? What makes Dugin so frightening is the really terrifying theology underneath, because it's even more strange. Dugin preaches that Russia is the katekon. Tekekon, I think is how you say it in Russian. It is the force prophesied to hold back the Antichrist, and that history is bending towards the final battle between a satanic West and a holy alliance of Orthodox Russia and the Muslim world. So, let me just say this clearly. It's going to take us a while to get through all of this. This is so important. Please, please stay with me.
Listen.
The Tetekon, he believes is Russia. And Russia is the force that he says is prophesied to hold back the Antichrist. That the Antichrist is coming in the satanic West, and it will be held back by a holy alliance of Orthodox Mother Russia and the Muslim world. Okay, so this Tsarist form of Christianity is very similar to Islamism in its dedication to unifying the Muslim world, the Ummah, under a caliphate. This Tsarist theology needs the caliphate. Katekon is identified with the Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire, the Church, the Holy Spirit, or a Christian figure. And this is the way he uses it, a Christian monarch, okay? According to Nazi philosopher, we get to go back to the Nazis on this philosophy, Carl Schmitt, Katekon represents any strong political authority or empire that maintains order and prevents total chaos and anarchy. It delays the end of the world by holding back apocalyptic disorder, making normal history and politics possible. So he's saying that Russia is that source that is going to hold back the West. Russia's Tsarist Christianity sees Islamism as more than an ally of convenience against a common enemy, but as the permanent partner in a joint holy war against the West. Dugin is suggesting that the final battle, the apocalypse, I know this sounds crazy, but please, it doesn't matter if you believe it. He believes it, and much of it, this is what he is spreading. This is what this conference is about, okay? This battle will feature a Zionist and Western coalition led by, get this, a Jewish antichrist facing off against a coalition consisting of the Muslim world led by the Mahdi, the Masonic or the messianic figure for Islam, and Christians led by a mysterious figure or entity called the Katekon that is prophesized to, resist the Antichrist. Dugin believes Russia is that mysterious figure along with the Mahdi. Now, this is an operation to get you and your faith and your country to split up. And it is a genius operation.
Remember, Dad said
And the
exquisite.
payload doesn't arrive in an enemy uniform. It arrives waving our flag. It quotes our scripture. It hates the same thing you hate and are passionate about. Dugin said it himself. The delivery vehicle is the American right. You are the target. And not because you're foolish, but because you're faithful. Because you carry real wounds. You worry about our families, our churches, our country's soul, the evil that has become our culture. And a real wound is the easiest place on earth to slip in poison and call it medicine. So I'm not going to stand here and point at those people over there who got fooled, because that would be the single most propagandized thing I could do. I'm going to tell you the truth. The people running this game are praying that I don't figure out, or perhaps I'm not willing to admit. This system was built to fool people first, like me. People like me in my
Even the
job,
elect will be deceived.
It's meant to fool them because it's meant to move through trusted voices, popular podcasters, friends, sincere believers. People who will believe this are sincere in their faith in Christ. They are sincere in their love of country. But they will hear the message that Dugin is giving and they'll say, because he is right on his analysis on what is happening to the West. It is evil. It's his solution that you must run from. Now, there are going to be people that are fooled. Surely they have no idea in the current that they're swimming in because they haven't done their homework. Or maybe they just, I don't want to judge. And then there are those who will knowingly be a part of this because they believe Dugin's solution is right, destroy the American church, destroy the American culture, and destroy the American government. And throw in line with the Islamists because they want a purified world too. The line between being wrong and being used is real. And it's not for me to read anyone's heart, but I can read the pattern. This is meant to fool me, so then I knowingly or unknowingly fool you. And the tell is never the complaint. Share every grievance about this culture. And I'll share most of them with you. The tell is the conclusion. When the answer to every single problem seems to be the same. Blame your own country, distrust your own people, distrust people who think a lot like you but don't agree, call them an enemy, admire a strong man, here or across the sea. Stop. That is not where faith leads. That's where the operation leads. But surely, Glenn, he's saying a lot of right things, and I don't have to go with all of it. And I'd notice something that's crazy. Would you? Would you notice? 2 years ago, claiming that Winston Churchill, not Hitler, was the real villain of the Second World War.
Remember that?
Everyone 2 years ago would have said you're insane. But then the right podcaster had the right person say it, and enough people say it with enough confidence that now it's just an interesting take floating in the discourse. that Hitler wasn't the bad guy Churchill was? And that is the whole machine in one example. A fringe idea doesn't kick down the door. It gets invited in by someone you trust. It takes off its coat, and by the time you notice it's still standing in the living room, it's been there for years.
Okay. Well said, Glenn Beck. Thank you. Finally, we found somebody who articulated it for us. We have been trying to, you guys already know. And so, to those of you who genuinely will come to me and say, but Putin is banning transgenderism in his country, they know exactly what they're doing. They're making sure that that is what you hear, because the diagnosis of what is wrong with the West is correct. However, their solution benefits only them, and they are driven by a false eschatology, a false representation of Christ and of end times, in which he explained it to you really well there about the Holy Spirit being and the restrainer, as we understand it. They are understanding it that the West is the Antichrist, and it's all anti-Israel as well. So that's for me, through this whole journey, that's been a big red flag. If they've suddenly just, and I don't mean somebody criticizing the way Netanyahu handled something or the way that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the real anti-Semitism that every one of you have seen. The memes, the accusations, the generalizations. It's not just criticizing a government. It has been shocking to me to see how many Americans are more apologetic toward the Iranian regime than the Jewish people in Israel.
Yeah.
Shocking. The Iranian regime, who slaughtered 40,000 plus of their own citizens at the beginning of the year after turning the internet off so that we couldn't see what they were doing as they slaughtered their own people.
And that's a conservative number.
And yes, and it is a conservative number. And so I'm going to show you in prophecy now. So my notes today are all over the place.
I just wanted to throw in one thing there.
Sure, yeah.
Is it's like it's been shocking with me how normalized it's become to say from the river to the sea and wipe out a whole Israeli thing, and it's
like, and where must they go?
Yeah, and then
Europe, because they were already driven out of Europe in World War II.
And then they don't. And then everything else is like, oh, Shane, the poor Gazans, the poor this. But you would rather wipe out a whole nation and everything. But what I wanted to just jump in and say about with Glenn Beck, what he was saying was so interesting, because you know what the problem with Christians? It's my dad used to call it Christianese. Is that the minute you tickle everyone's ears and you mention Jesus or you mention the Holy Spirit, oh no, you are a Christian. No, you're not. You don't have the fruits of Christianity. And you need to be very careful, because the devil comes to steal, to rob, and to destroy. And what he's going to do is he's going to tell you the little bit of truth, the 80% truth, to get your attention. You're like, oh no, because even the Muslims right now are saying that Jesus was a Muslim and he's in the Quran. And so Christians are like, oh, well, Jesus is in the Quran. So we got to be very careful that the devil is ready to deceive you, and it's so easy to be deceived. The way to heaven is very narrow. So be vigilant of the devil's devices.
So, Bali, if you remember on December 13th, 2014, Dad, when he said, I see Putin and 4 others, and we'll show you guys this clip in a little bit, he saw robes of religion.
Mm-hmm.
And that never made sense to me before. I was thinking, he was seeing, because he'd seen Islam and Russia and Iran and Islam. And you just heard Glenn Beck say, okay, the czarist Christianity and the unity with the Islamists who are waiting for the Mahdi. You see how Dugan has sort of smushed everything together. I saw somebody make a comment about Aleister Crowley in the Rumble chat. And I just want to say, Alexander Dugan was a key speaker at an Aleister Crowley memorial event.
Oh, wow.
And so what Dugan has done is he's sort of gathered the things that he likes, like a little bit Gnostic, a little bit Orthodox, a little bit occult, and he's smushed it all together to make this eschatology, and he's very convincing. And to some, not to me. But that's because God told me Alexander Dugin is Putin's Rasputin in 2022, and nobody knew who Dugin even was, including me. And what I did was, over the years, I started to look for him. And the only person who talked about Dugin was Glenn Beck. That's why I started listening to Glenn Beck. That's why I went over to the Blaze. I didn't listen to Glenn before then. I'd catch him here and there, but it was I subscribed to Blaze TV and started to watch Glenn Beck because of what he saw and because of what he revealed about Alexander Dugin, because God told me about Dugin in 2022 and I didn't know. My dad never saw Dugin. He saw Putin and he saw a charmer, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So actually, where is that? Did I play that already?
Which one?
The charmer?
No, I think you sent. Is that the YouTube one that you sent me? You played that.
I've got it. Oh, here it is. No, here it is.
Okay.
Listen to this.
Then I saw this as well. Russia was yielding from her. Now, Russia would yield. Now, I wasn't sure what that meant, but I saw ashes, ashes and ashes. And then suddenly out of the ashes arose a charmer, a man, a serpent in a man with seducing power as I've not ever seen before. Keep your eye on Russia. Watch what happens. Then I saw this as well. Russia
Playing it over again. So that's my dad in 2012. Now, what's interesting here for me, Lou, is that he says I see ashes and ashes and ashes. Now I'm thinking about the Ukraine war.
The war, yeah, that's what
and
I.
Also at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, the Ukrainians did bomb right outside, and so that also means that they've reached inside Russia.
Russia.
They can reach inside Russia. I suspect Estonia may be helping.
As well,
little
yeah,
bit.
Estonia.
And Dad prophesied about Estonia. He was shouting, Estonia, Estonia. We
You
didn't
are
even
the
know there was
troublemaker.
an Estonia, and my dad's prophesying he didn't know there was an Estonia.
I didn't know there was an Estonia. Remember when we actually found out about Estonia?
Yes.
And then we were like, there's a place called Estonia. And then he's like, you are the troublemaker.
You will rattle Putin.
You will
who
battle
claims
Putin.
himself
And then we
as a
started
czar.
seeing,
Now, here's what's interesting. You will rattle Putin, who claims himself as a czar. Let's pull up the Putin video. Putin prophecies. Okay, you guys, Lou is going to put the link to this in the description. It is actually on my YouTube channel. And let me tell you something amazing. You can take the X page down. Let me tell you something amazing, you guys. And Lou, I don't even know if I've told you this yet. Maybe I did. I'm in looking for, because last year I gathered all the prophecies I could find at the time about Putin. There's a few in there actually that I didn't add to that video, that I didn't come across at them in the moment. But I went into this video because so many of the Putin prophecies were there. So it was easy for me to grab clips from it to play for you guys today. So I had it up and I looked. I just happened to see the date that I posted it. Guess what date I posted that Putin prophecies video?
You said June 7th.
June 7th, 2025. What is the date today?
June 7th, 2026.
So that's
Exactly
a
1 year.
prophetic thing for me. A little bell. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, Donna. You're on the right track.
Yeah.
So that's the way I'm seeing that. So let's pull that up. We're going to start at the 4-minute, 36 second mark. And if you want to, are you going to control it, Lee?
We don't know. You're not
What's
Oh,
happening?
supposed to
Oh,
know.
the devil doesn't know.
Russia, Ukraine, Poland, Germany, Estonia. You shall be the troublemaker. You shall rattle Putin, who claims himself as a Tsar, to bring back a system of control and pain and suppression. I laughed at you for all the nations.
We're going to reload this. It's doing something weird. Let me reload it.
I'm going to take you off and you just
That's
talk.
fine. You can take me off.
Something going on there. I don't know.
Yeah, something weird because the devil doesn't want us playing for this for you today, but we defy that in the name of Jesus. This video is going to work and you're going to hear my dad. And I know you guys have probably all heard this before, but it's good to listen again, especially now that things have changed considerably and moved in the direction that he prophesied. So let Lou reload that. See you guys in the chat.
I hope this is
Oh, your
okay.
dad's heavenly birthday. Marianne? Marianne? Estonia will be the troublemaker. That's right, Denise.
We don't know. You're not supposed to know. Russia, Ukraine, Poland, Germany, Estonia. You shall be the troublemaker. You shall rattle Putin, who claims himself as a Tsar,
Pause.
to bring back.
What did you hear Glenn Beck say? Tsarist Christianity. Tsarist Christianity. What did you hear my dad prophesy 2014? Putin, who claims himself as a czar. Okay, keep going.
A system of control and pain and suppression. I laughed at you, but all the nations stand before me now without intelligence, without understanding. They know nothing. Now you're at my mercy, says the Lord. Search as much as you wish, for it shall come to pass that I will expose. For Russia has joined its hands to Iran, Syria, and is gathering as many nations as possible to come and strike the Jews and to strike at this Christian nation and cause you to be crippled, says the Lord. Therefore, would you like an answer? I'll show you. I told you within 48 hours. Now it is emerging. Now I will show you. And then God says, as they creep nearer, I will expose them and destroy them beneath the sea, on top of the sea, on the land, and in the air, says the Lord.
Okay, so did you hear Putin, who claims himself as a czar? Russia will join hands with Iran, Syria, and gather as many nations as possible to come against the Jews and to come against this Christian nation. That is a prophecy I have been watching for years. Lou has been watching it for years. All of us here, many of you code breakers, we are in that moment. And the thing about the Candace Owens trip to Russia has nothing to do with Candace Owens. She's an idiot. It has to do with the fact that it has shed light onto the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, or perhaps we wouldn't have been looking at it. Maybe we wouldn't have noticed. Now we did. Now we're all looking. So thank you, Candace. God has used you, even though not in the way you think. And so I find it striking that Dad picked up the czar part, Lou, because when we listened to Glenn a little while ago, he was warning about the czarist Christianity. This is connected to the robes of religion, the orthodoxy. You'll hear someone like Candace Owens say, I don't read the Bible, my priest tells me. Okay, that is the very same spirit, that religious spirit that crucified Christ. It wasn't the Jews who crucified Christ. It was a religious spirit in the Sanhedrin.
Yep, that's true.
That religious spirit is what took the grip and crucified Christ, because there were plenty of Jews who supported him. So all of those people are like, oh, the Jews killed Christ. No. The religious spirit did.
Yep.
And that same religious spirit has risen up. And America, in our weakness, in our moment of weakness and sickness and sin, they are taking advantage of it by putting on robes of religion and saying, oh, well, we're going to ban transgenderism. We are not as evil as the West. They are the Antichrist and must be taken out. So we will join hands with the Muslims, and when their Mahdi comes, we will take over the world. Those are the globalists that we're dealing with now. World Economic Forum, Western globalists, they were bad enough. These guys, I can see why God showed my dad these guys, because we were able to handle those other ones just fine. All we needed to do was get Trump in, and we did that. But now, our enemy is a real problem. Because like Glenn said, they are very, very clever. And they have infiltrated to influence not us, people like him. People who
Yeah.
have lots of followers and influence. And as many of those, and they don't need many, who have they got? Tucker, Candace, Alex. That's all it took. That's all it took. And all the people who follow them, I even have family members who follow Alex Jones, who used to stand with Israel and no longer do, because they trusted Alex Jones, because he earned their trust, because he was telling them the truth. Lots of people have told you the truth along this journey, but that does not mean you put your guard down and stop discerning. Start discerning. Because the enemy has infiltrated our camp and is being successful in weakening our camp coming up to the midterms. Do not be fooled. Share this, please share this. Share this information with whoever will watch it, with whoever will see it. Please share this broadcast. Share these prophecies. And if the people that you're wanting to, do share on your social media, but talk to people about this. And if they're not into prophecy or they don't want to watch a whole podcast, make sure you understand just enough of what's going on. And I'm trying to equip you with that today so that you can tell other people. And even if they won't listen to you, at least you can put a question in the mind so that when a moment comes up, they at least have that question in their mind. Is this real? Is this the right way? We want that question to be asked because it is not the right way. My dad would not have prophesied this much about this if it wasn't worthy of note,
Yeah.
if it wasn't going to be a danger, because he saw the Fourth Reich as well. And so let's go.
I just want to say quickly, religion is the biggest deception of the devil. Because Jesus did not come to create a religion. He came to seek those who are lost and set the captives free. That's why he came. He didn't come to start a religion. You don't have to do anything. All you need to do is have a relationship with Jesus Christ, and you can come before him. And he came, so he connected us to God again. Religion is a physical thing that we have to do to please God. No, all we have to do is spend time with him and speak with him. Religion is a terrible thing. And my grandfather, when we were bringing up, he said, because I said to him, well, what religion are we? He says, we're not a religion. We're a relationship with God. We don't have a religion, because religion tells us who we have to be to please God, when all God wants us to be is to love him and to serve him and to be on our knees and say, God, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day. This is the only thing that matters. So stay away from religion, because it's the weapon of
And
the
look
enemy.
who religion is attacking: the evangelical Christians.
Religion always attacks each other.
And the Jews.
And religion will kill each other. Religious Christians will attack Christians and take them out. Religious Christians are the worst people because they will judge you to hell. They don't want
We
you
deal
to
with
be
it all the
saved.
time.
Religious Christians will
every
judge
time
you to
I say
hell.
something someone doesn't like on X, I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine for whatever her name is, walks with God, to swear profanities at me,
Yeah.
calling me a witch, and that I will burn in hell because I'm sharing this information and prophecy with my dad.
Yeah. Well, my grand would ask me, she'll say,
I have
how
had
are
the
you
worst
to
attacks from religious people, much more than people on the left. I have to say that, and that was shocking to me.
Yeah.
Well, here's the best answer to anybody. When they say, what do you believe? Or who do you? You say, I am blessed, I am anointed, and I'm filled with the power of God. That's all you say to them. I am blessed, I am anointed, and I'm filled with the power of God. Do you need Jesus today? That's all. Don't argue with the devil. The devil will argue. What did Jesus do when the devil met him? And he says, oh, if you just turn these rocks into bread. All he did was quote scripture. He never argued with the devil. He says, well, I'm the Son of God. And he never did that. He just confronted the devil with scripture, and he left, and the devil left, and the angels came and communed with him. So let me just say to people, you're blessed, anointed, and filled with the power of God, because you are a son and daughter of Jesus Christ. All right. Let's go to the prophecy.
Now, yes, go back to the video.
Okay.
And we're going to skip to 20 minutes and 25 seconds. And we're going to listen to the Fourth Reich prophecy again. And then I believe the one right after. Let's just go there and keep going. I'll tell you when to stop. So fast forward 20 minutes and 25 seconds.
Une guerre,
It shall be short-lived,
une guerre très courte,
because as France
parce que comme la France
destroyed the power
a détruit le pouvoir
of invasion
de l'envahisseur
from the Middle East
et des envahisseurs du Moyen-Orient
in the 7th century,
dans le 7e siècle,
so shall it rise up
alors la France se lèvera
and destroy the invading
et
forces
elle va détruire aussi des forces qui
from
vont
the beast of the
envahir,
east,
qui viendront de l'Est,
and they will overcome
et nous allons vaincre,
an agreement
et nous allons vaincre un accord
between Russia
entre la Russie
and Iran.
et l'Iran.
And so keep your eye on the royal family. Keep your eye on the Roman Empire.
Wow.
Because that's the first Reich. Said God speaking about the fourth one. Could it be that it wasn't quite as positive as what we thought it is, even though there'll be an outpouring of the Spirit, but possibly the revisitation of all these Reichs together, all opposed to Israel,
Yes.
all opposed to America and Antichrist.
Yes.
So now, does this sound bad to everybody? It sounds terrible. But, you know, if you look at us, we right now, Israel is in danger from a force that they've somewhat forgotten about. And like America with China and Russia, they are not our friends.
Yes.
Do you know yesterday China and Russia were playing the best friends? Yesterday, I don't know if you saw that, but China and Russia were playing the best friends. And China is not a friend. They're manipulating and they're lying laughingly to destroy America. So, what do we say about that? China and Russia siding with the Middle East, possibly. So, we've got to keep our eyes open,
That's shocking.
and we need a moral compass in the United States of America. The wickedness and impending danger is due to some device hidden in a place unknown to the present intelligence. That's what I have to tell you. And maybe even ignored.
I wasn't going to play this, but this.
In other words, oh, that's not important. This weapon is in a human
concerned about
mind. And the weapon that is in this human mind came to me when I saw some alphabetical letters. I saw some letters. At first, I thought it was A to Z. Now, this is a puzzle to me right now. But God almost said to me, focus on this, so that the mystery can be unfolded. The letters were A and Q. That's all I saw. And he said, that's where it's at. Then I saw Russia, I saw Pakistan, and I saw a connection.
That is so enough.
Lift your hands!
I wasn't going to play these, but now I'm just like, let's just watch
Hear the word!
America. Hear the word.
Keep praying, keep praying, keep praying. Keep praying. Keep praying with me, please. This very seldom happens to me. I'm seeing all kinds of things. I see a spider web. I see a spider. And this thing that the spider has caught, God said, is a necessity. Why? Because the Spirit of God says this has weaved its web in the palaces. The spider has weaved its web in the palaces, says the Lord, even the greatest of royalty in my kingdom, the chosen generation. We have found spiders and we have found cobwebs, and God said this has to be removed. For the Spirit of God says, even as America has prayed and the people have called out, this vision that is being caught, that is being brought to your attention, is so that you will understand something is being born, a movement is being born, and the unholiest shall become the holiest, and those that are of much iniquity shall become the saints of the Most High God. And those who have rejected him shall fall on their knees, and they shall become as the Davids of this day. You don't understand that God said, I will open your eyes with the knowledge that is given tonight. The earth is crying out for the manifestation of the sons of God. The earth is crying out for the manifestation of this movement that is about to be born in the United States of America.
The other thing the Lord said to me today, very clearly,
Here, watch
He
this
said,
now.
Kim,
This is
tell
important.
my people to keep their eye on Russia, because there's a huge deception that is taking place and is yet to unveil. and where people will even embrace it. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I saw this hand coming out of Russia, and this hand being extended out to the Christian people and to the Jews as if it were a friend. It is not a friend. Russia is not a friend to the Jews and not a friend to the Christians. I'm not speaking about the people of Russia. I'm talking about the administration and the leaders. I saw deception coming out of Russia. I saw a hand coming out as if to shake. And then as the hand was shaken by purple robes and garments of religion, I saw the hand raised up and then smashing them on the neck.
Okay, you can turn that off. Go back to my X page. Okay, I know. I'm doing things very fast paced today, but there's a lot I wanted to share with you, and I wanted to make sure I got it all. Okay, so I was telling you about Ryan Morrow. He was actually on Glenn Beck's program this week, reporting on all of this to Glenn. A lot of the reason Glenn was able to get the information he had was thanks to Ryan Morrow, who I now follow. So you'll see his account right here. I recommend, if you are on X or any social media and you're interested in this, follow Ryan, because Ryan has been on Dugan for decades. And the reason I've found him and the reason I follow Glenn Beck is because they were the only people talking about Alexander Dugan. And I was just looking for someone else because God gave me, again, one thing and no explanation. What's happening? I heard my son is here outside, and
Playing.
he's okay, though.
Yeah, and they're playing.
Are they having fun?
Yes.
Oh, good. My little boy is playing with his cousins. Okay. So here, Ryan is talking about, because he's been looking at what's going on with Candace going to this International Economic Forum in St. Petersburg. And he says Russian state propaganda previously attacked Erica Kirk by amplifying Candace's conspiracy theories. Now Russia is going straight at her. Why? Because Erica Kirk represents pro-Western Christianity. Russia and Candace represent authoritarian, czarist Christianity. What did my dad say?
Mm-hmm.
Putin, who claims himself as a czar.
czar.
Have you ever heard Putin openly say that?
Nope.
No, you haven't. But yet, what are we finding as we go digging in under the earth, when we start pulling up a root ball and you start seeing the things that are underneath the ground as you're weeding I'm sorry, I know I'm using an analogy, but this has been that's how God revealed it to me in the moment. As I'm weeding my garden, I picked up a huge root ball from the weeds, and as I picked it up, I saw how far those weeds were extended under the ground to where I thought that was a different weed and that's a different weed. It's all coming from the same place, but it was hidden underneath. And that is what we are experiencing right now. And they are using religion. Notice it's Orthodox religion. What does Tucker say? The worst person in the world is not a jihadist. It's not any terrorist. It is the evangelical Christian. That's who Tucker hates the most. He said it on his show, and I heard it come out of his mouth myself. The worst people, the worst are the evangelical Christians. Not the Eastern or Orthodox Russian church. No, they're wonderful. That's what Tucker will tell you. What is happening? They only had to get Tucker, Candace, Alex. Some others are running around there that started scuttling around, following, not wanting to miss the story, but they have no connection to the divine. They have no discernment. So they have been easily pulled by our enemies into the direction that they want the rest of us to go. Are we going to be foolish enough to do that? Are we going to be foolish enough to follow them? Or are we going to rise above, use our prophetic nature, our prophetic eyes, a gift that the Holy Spirit has given us, evil evangelical Christians, according to Tucker? We cannot let this happen. We cannot let this happen because it is the end of America. It's got nothing to do with the religion to these people. To people like Dugan and Putin, they will use religion so that they can grasp control of the entire world. What is standing in the way of them doing that? Israel and America. That's why God had to use Israel and America. That's why we had to watch what God was going to do with Israel and the United States of America at the same time. I'm quoting straight from my father's prophecy. My fury has ended, says the Lord. What is the name of this operation? Epic fury. That is how deep, that is how intricate, that is how intertwined these prophecies are with the fact of the moment that we are standing in right now. We cannot allow this to succeed. This is the moment to remember when Trump got elected and everybody was like, oh, relieved, including me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that was the battle. Now we enter the war. Now we're in the middle of the war. And I'm not talking about the war in Iran, even though it's a huge part of it. Because Dad saw this would happen with Iran. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of clarity about the outcome overall. He saw hundreds of thousands of Christians being freed in Iran.
Yeah.
But he did not see Iran being free. And that goes to Bible prophecy, because in the war of Gog and Magog, Persia is with Gog and Magog when they come against Israel, which I think we're still gonna see. And yes, I know that Glenn Beck is a Mormon. I forgive him. I forgive him. I'm not even worried about whose denomination is what right now. That's a religious spirit right there.
Mm-hmm.
God can use a donkey. He can use Glenn Beck. Even if he's not the right denomination right now. He sees what nobody else saw. All the pastors, all the preachers, all these people that were supposed to discern, they did not see. They did not warn you. Some of them are leading you directly into the hand of the devil. But a Mormon did see the truth. So I have no problem acknowledging that, and I forgive him. I don't agree with Mormonism. I'm not a Mormon. But I forgive Glenn Beck because he saw the truth. He saw the truth, and he said something about it. And God made sure he was successful enough that he didn't need to take money
Yeah.
from anybody.
Well, the woman at the well, she wasn't a Jew, and Jesus spoke to her, and she got a whole city saved.
Right.
So you don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be anything. God can use anybody to change a nation, to change the world. He doesn't need our approval. He doesn't need to. His choices.
Was I shouting too much?
No, you're fine. His
I'm so
choice.
passionate about this because I can see how important it is. And it does. All these other things don't matter. If they win, then all those things will never matter again. You will
Yeah.
never be able to criticize one another's denominations ever again. You will never again fly your helicopter over some rich pastor's house to expose them. You'll never get to do any of that again because there won't be any more of it left. There will be no more free speech. To bring back a system of pain and suppression and suffering, that is their solution to our genuine sickness in the West. To convince us that we are the evil ones. That evangelical Christians are the worst things in the world, and those evil Jews. Not any of the Islamists who are completely taking over. They're the ones expanding. Afghanistan did not used to be a Muslim country. Neither did Turkey.
No.
They are the expansionists. They have taken over the Middle East. Now they're taking over Europe. And the next thing they want to do is take over America. They couldn't do it alone, so they joined hands with the communists.
They're doing
Russia
it.
and China.
They're doing
And
it already.
That right there is a real, legitimate threat. And all it takes to overcome it, because that's the thing Dad saw too. Wasn't there a lot to, a spider's web can be swept up by a servant's broom. All we need to do is know where that web is.
Yeah.
So if that web is up here on the top there, now there's one.
Yeah.
I didn't see it up there.
Yeah. And there's
All I got to do now that I see it, all I got to do is get my broom and that's how we deal with it. It's not going to be a whole big fight. You just have to see through the deception. That's why God gave my dad these prophecies. Because if it wasn't for that, I would be having a hard time seeing it right now too.
Yeah.
I am no better than anybody else. I am not smarter. I am not more discerning. I'm just like any of you watching me right now. And as soon as you get because the lie is in the omission. Someone in the comments on YouTube said, Alex Jones gave us 90% truth. 10% of it was poison. Exactly. That all it takes is that little bit. Because you've gained people. It's happened to me. My trust was gained. Well, you told the truth about this, and you told the truth about this, and you told the truth. And that turned out, every time I checked, that turned out to be true.
Mm-hmm.
So I can follow you. But in my own family, people who used to support Israel, because they watch Alex Jones, now no longer believe that the Jews in Israel are the real Jews. I don't know who all those people in Israel are with a unique DNA who don't marry out very much.
The funny
So
thing,
who are those people in Israel then? What is that unique DNA happening in Israel? Who
I
are
re-
they?
I read
They're
some.
not the real Jews. Where are the real Jews then?
I read some.
Where are they, in Africa?
I saw some arguments online where people
Oh, in
were
Africa.
arguing
They're the real
about
Jews.
this, and they were saying they weren't born in Israel. They were born. They're Russian Jews, or they're this.
That's because they were driven out.
Yeah, but your
Because of anti-Semitism, because that's evil demon.
your
rising up again
bloodline
and again.
doesn't. Your bloodline doesn't change. Your bloodline doesn't change because you're born somewhere else. I was born in South Africa. I will always be an African. My bloodline doesn't change. Jewish bloodline does not change because you are a Russian Jew, Indian Jew, whatever Jew you are. It doesn't matter where you were born. The bloodline is still the same. That's not an argument. So the promises of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the lineage of David that brought us Jesus, is the lineage of David is Jesus, the second Adam. That lineage is the covenant is still with the Jews, no matter where they're from or where they come from. That bloodline is still connected. So this whole the fake Jew thing is a lie from the devil again, and
Well-
it just tickles ears.
Okay, so here's this. It's so hot in here today.
It's hot.
It's muggy and humid outside.
I'm sitting still,
That's
so
why I
I'm not
raise
feeling
my
it.
hand. My hand Okay, so this post by Laura Loomer, this was good too. She's on this too, and I'm really glad to see that. But the deep state spent years manufacturing a fake Russia collusion hoax against Donald Trump to intentionally desensitize the public to actual foreign subversion. So that's what I was trying to say earlier, is because we were so sick of hearing about the Russia hoax, we became conditioned to sort of just reject any warnings about Russia. And that they took advantage of that. The Russians did. And when I say the Russians, I'm not talking about Russian citizens. I'm not attacking the whole
No,
Russian
it's
people.
never about.
I think Russian
population.
people are really cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The babushkas and I don't have a problem with Russian,
It's not
even
about being
culture.
Russian.
But these people who are governing there are a danger to us in the West, and especially to evangelical Christians and Jews. They are a danger to us. So we can't ignore that. But that doesn't mean we're not talking about this. Just like when I'm talking about Iran, I'm talking about the regime. I'm not talking about the Iranian people. I love the Iranian people. Their culture has been swallowed up, and it is a beautiful and ancient and spectacular culture.
Yes,
And
Afghanistan too.
it has been swallowed up. Same for Afghanistan, same for Turkey, same, all these countries. Now, one thing I will say, Lou, is that he warns about Syria.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been watching Syria because I do not like the deal with al-Jawlani. I don't like that situation going on in Syria. I don't know what Trump's doing there.
Let's turn up that sound.
Obviously no control, so we just have to wait and see and pray. But Dad said Russia will join hands with Iran and Syria to come against the Jews and to come against this Christian nation. You watched that prophecy a little while ago. We don't have to play it again. But I'm sure you can see, I'm hoping you can see what I'm trying to portray today. What is it?
I'm saying your mic's too loud, but it's not.
Is it testing? Testing. Angela in the House of Destiny chats, it's mention of China and Russia. They supplied the Iranian regime with weaponry. So those hands joined. Yes. Yes. That is correct. So you can go back to X there. I'm going to have to use my glasses to see this. Now, literal communist operatives, jihadists, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Can they hear me now? And useful idiots in the woke Reich. Remember Dad prophesied the Fourth Reich? You saw that a little while ago from France. Are exploiting the exact blind spot to carry out a psyop on conservatives, with many of these influencers traveling straight to Moscow and various Muslim countries to coordinate an open infiltration of the right to destroy Western civilization. There it is. That's my dad's prophecies being fulfilled in real time. And the thing about it is, it's not even about my dad's prophecies right now. It's about the preservation of our culture and our country and what God intends for us. Here is video of Dugan telling the Iranian regime that resistance against the West is great jihad, and praising Soleimani as a great warrior. You want to hear?
General Soleimani, Qasem Soleimani, was totally aware of the meaning of the fight we are leading. General Qasem Soleimani was a real warrior. You can fight enemy on the battlefield as General Qasem Soleimani did. Resistance is not small jihad, it is great jihad. Resistance, it is the struggle against Western modernity. Glory to real hero of our resistance. General Soleimani, Qasem Soleimani, was
The
totally
information is there for
aware of the
everybody
meaning.
to see if you look for it, but it has been very carefully shielded. Do you see this? Yael Eckstein was at the ladies'
I saw.
thing this weekend with Erica Kirk. And, we've worked with the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews for decades. We know Yael. So it was so great to see. I didn't know she was going to be there, and it was so nice to see her. She is a wonderful person. That's just something pretty for you to see. But and TPUSA had a wonderful event this weekend. It was really good. Here's more Glenn. And here, I'm not going to play this now, but if you follow me on X, go and watch some of these things. And also the YouTube video we've been using today with the Putin prophecies that I made 1 year ago today. Pretty prophetic, I think. You can watch that video. Lou will provide the link, and maybe you guys can we put it in the chat?
Mm-hmm.
Throw that link in the chat. You can follow me on YouTube as well. But here, Glenn was, and I'm not going to play this, but he's talking about that Putin and Dugan are correct in their diagnosis of the problems in the West. And so this is where people are getting deceived, because Putin is saying the same thing you're worrying about. So you're like, oh, well, he sees the same problem. But their solution is going to be to their advantage, not ours. And that's what you need to remember. The solution is to divide the Antichrist West. We're not the Antichrist. That is a lie. That's what the devil wants you to believe. We are not the Antichrist, because whatever sin is happening in America, let me tell you something, don't think for a second it ain't happening in any of those countries. Don't think it isn't. We just have freedom, so people see more what happens here. They don't have the freedom to share. I thought Erica looked beautiful. She handled that heckler very well. So I did post a lot of Glenn as well. I wanted you guys to see that. This is so, my gosh, this is so adorable. Can we just take a moment? This lady brings her cat to model these little hats and things she makes for the cats, but look how cute. Oh, I love that. I've got to get that for my cats. It looks like she's crocheting or knitting them, and I bet you I could just get Shelly Ann, my sister, to, or Jacqueline. So here's some pretty things to look at. This has been an intense broadcast today, so I'm trying to lighten the load now a little bit because we got all the hard stuff out. Now we are going to go and have a look at another video, another date. Also, please follow, like I said, please follow Ryan Morrow. He has articles he's done on this, extensive research. I thank God for that, for him and Glenn Beck, because otherwise I was standing there alone looking for someone. All I knew was God told me Alexander Dugin is Putin's Rasputin in 2022. I didn't know who Dugin was. I didn't know he was Russian. I didn't know he was anything. Didn't know anything. And along the journey, along the way, because God put that on my heart, it led me to find what I needed to find that was in my dad's prophecies. But without knowing about Dugin, I wouldn't have been able to find it. So God gave me that one tiny little thing I needed. That's how this works. And it's actually beautiful. Before we go to the next video, though, I want to just show you guys something awesome. So we're going to just divert again. So for those of you who have been buying my husband's paintings, up until now, the only way that you could get them was to email him. But he keeps making more paintings and getting so many orders that he has put together a website. One thing that was difficult, though, was he didn't want to have to. He wanted to do the name your own price thing with the paintings still. And so he has managed to create a website that will allow him to do that.
I've got the QR code in that already.
The QR code for the
Yeah,
website.
yeah.
Oh,
And the
Lou, you made a
pictures.
QR code?
Yes.
You are the best. I'm going to go in here, though. You can still put that. Is that what's up there right now?
I'll put
Oh,
your
he's gonna put
X
that.
page back on.
Yeah, put the, it's taking me to another website. It's taking me to his website. I want to show them the website.
Oh,
Can I add?
yes,
Do you want to come do it?
I will.
I think you should come do it. Okay, I just want you to see the website because it's really, really nice.
Hold on, I'll open it this side.
Oh, okay, you can open it. That's fine. Lou's going to open it up. I want you guys to see. So he's got a website now, but you can still name your own price. The only thing is, and John told me, since we've launched, a number of people have gone there and used it, but do not use the autofill for your address because for some reason it's only filling the first part of the address. It doesn't have city, state, zip. So make sure that if you go in there and order anything, you check and make sure that your address is in there properly because you got a couple of orders. The people used autofill and it didn't give him their. It only gave it only filled halfway. I don't know why. We'll figure it out. But until then, please do check your address when you're entering it in. And as you can see below, this is the website, but you can see the QR code is there. So if you wanted to scan that QR code, you can go right there. What you're seeing on your screen, you can scroll up, Lou, is the American Jesus, which is his most recent painting. And he did this for the 250th anniversary and of America. And so he has sold 80 of the first 100. So what happens is the first 100 that he sells are numbered. So you will get a 1 over 100 or 5 over 100. After the first 100 are sold, he will still autograph them. He's been doing the gold leafing. He does gold leafing by hand on the crown. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So now you don't have to just email him. You can just go straight here to his website, which is it's Petro.
I've got it.
washere.com. I just want to make sure that they can see that as well for anyone who wants to type it in. Not everybody likes QR codes. So it is petrowashere.com. And all of his paintings are there. You can see them. But the one where, and there's the original Jesus. There's the Lion and the Lamb. There's the lion. There's the one he did at the end of last year, up at the top right there. And then you can see the most recent one where Jesus is draped in the American flag. That is the one I'm talking about when we're talking about the first 100. So he has sold 80 of the first 100. So if you want to be in the group that gets the first 100, make sure you order today. And it's name your own price. But now you actually have a website. You can look at the artwork in front of you very nicely. And you can also, but you still get to do name your own price. I think it looks really nice. They've worked really hard on this. And he wasn't going to do one, now he's done it. And so this is for our 250th anniversary. This July 4th, we want to get 100 sold or more before then, definitely more. But do be in that pool of people doing getting that. We want to get these in as many homes as possible. And that's why it's name your own price. This isn't about that. It's getting these images, the image of Christ. He's just putting it whoever wants it, wherever he can put it, he's putting it. So if you want to be part of that, there's that information for you right now. Okay, Lou, we're going to move over. We're almost out of time. Let's go over to December 13th, 2014. The Putin and 4 others. Let's play that part.
Okay.
Can you put up the website, John's website yet?
We've put it up on the screen.
That's what we were just doing. Are you in the same room with us?
Well, type it there.
PetroWasHere.com. PetroWashere.com. PetroWasHere.com.
Before I do anything else, this drew it out of me. I'd been in all week. I've been carrying this, and I was carried above a table with Putin and 4 others. I saw them writing things which I am not permitted to speak now. Otherwise, I won't be alive next week. I am not permitted to speak this now, but there will come a point when I can share it with the right authorities. And I will do it. And I will do it as I go to Israel. That is my duty. That is what he called me to do. I need your prayer. I need your covering. Jane needs your covering. My children need your covering. Our team needs your covering. Prayer covering for protection. This is no small thing, people. It may seem like a small building here, but there are literally millions that are watching all over the world at some point in time. And not many of them are friends. Many of them are great enemies.
And you know, the thing is that prophecy has always really, that's one of the things that has stuck with me, because he talks about, I won't be alive next week. And the way the timeline went was, you heard him say, sees Putin and 4 others writing things down. I don't know where the robes of religion, I need to find that prophecy, but writing things down that he couldn't speak about or he wouldn't be alive next week.
I think it was in the prophecy you played. He talked about the robes of religion. You
There's
played
another
it.
one.
Oh, is there another one? Okay.
So he kept seeing that, though. He kept seeing the robes of religion, and then he's seen Putin writing things down with 4 others. Putin and 4 others, that's 5. So just remember that as you're watching the news and you're seeing things. Just remember these prophecies. They're here to help you. This is to help us together. My dad's not here anymore. And the thing is that he said, I will tell the right authorities when I go to Israel. 2 weeks later, he did go to Israel.
Yeah.
2 weeks after that, a tumor started growing in his brain. And we didn't find it till September of 2015. But by January of 2015, there was a tumor growing in his brain. I don't know if you can give people cancer, so I don't know. But that was always suspicious to me. I don't know, these people know how to give people cancer? I don't know.
Who knows what they know
I don't
what to do.
But what I know is maybe it was just a prophetic thing. He was so prophetic. But there he is, December 13th. Please remember that date too. December 13th of 2014. I see Putin and 4 others writing things down. And then he goes to Israel. He did go to Israel. I don't know what happened. I don't know who he told what to. I had just had my second child, and I was not clued in at all on what he was doing. It was like when I saw him, he just wanted to see his grandbabies. We weren't talking about this stuff. So at the time, I didn't know. Only afterwards did I find these prophecies and start to piece things together. So he goes to Israel after he prophesied that. And then the reason we know that the tumor started growing in his brain in January is because when they found the tumor at the end of 2015, so a year after this prophecy, they find the tumor. But he had a stroke in September. So it took them from September to December to even find out that it was a tumor, because it was a soft tissue sarcoma, spindle cell sarcoma in his brain, primary, which is highly unusual. I think only 50 people have ever had that happen. But the reason we know that it was January of 2015 that it began growing is because when they did remove the tumor from his brain, the surgeons measured the rate of growth, which was very aggressive. And they calculated that it probably began growing in January of 2015. So when you look at this prophecy that we just played, and then you look at that and what occurred, it is odd. I've never found answers, but it is. And you see him asking for prayer and protection for his family and his team because of how dangerous that was. Because right now, watching me right now are people who are my enemies, and I'm aware of that. And he was aware of that. But can't keep my mouth shut. God gave me this big mouth. He didn't want me to sing. He didn't want me to play an instrument. He didn't want me to dance or entertain. Don't you remember Roger Teal said that?
You won't dance and entertain.
You're not here to dance and sing. Bring them a charm. What did he say? Because yours will be you will bring a word of judgment.
A word of judgment. And Lord.
Oh my, like an axe at the root of the tree. And you know what's so striking to me about that is that I'm doing the gardening right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all thinking in those terms. And there he probably, if anyone's wondering, we played a prophecy I got from Roger Teal last week. So if you haven't seen last week's Code Breakers, go watch that one and you can see where Roger Teal prophesied over me. If you don't know who he is, I'm not surprised because he doesn't advertise himself. He's not that kind of prophet. He's so accurate. He only emerges when God tells him, and then he goes and he does what God tells him to do, and then he disappears again.
Yes.
I won't even tell you where he is. I don't know exactly, but I know what state. That's it. But he, he was. It was quite rough, that prophecy, but I needed it to be. When I speak to him personally, if I pick up the phone and call Roger Teal, he is kind and gentle and sweet and good, and I thank God for him. But he's not on the line. He's not anywhere on social media. There's some old videos from like 20 years ago, maybe not that long, however long, 9 years ago, a decade ago, on YouTube of him teaching about prophecy that he did a little series there, but he hasn't done anything like that since. And that was really for me, when my dad died, how many prophetic voices came to me. Even before, Richard Gray prophesying over my mom and dad 2 days before my dad had the stroke, and heard my name, and I'd never met him. So many, during that time period, a lot of crazy prophetic things happened, and one of those was that Roger Teal prophecy I played for you guys last week where he twisted my arm. I'm terrified. I'd never met him before. Now I know him. Now it's fine. But at the time, I had literally met him 5 minutes before that, and then we went up on the stage, and that happened. And it was powerful. So if you haven't seen it, you can watch that. Last week's Code Breakers. So just go to last week, wherever you're watching from right now. Go to last week. And I think we've covered everything. So just remember, Tsarist Christianity, hand in hand with the caliphate. I think they're going to take over the West. And I'm here to tell you they're going to fail. As long as enough of us know what's going on, we can sweep up spider webs. We just got to be able to see them. So we just ask God to reveal that to us. Every crevice, every crack, everywhere that this web is hidden, reveal it to us, and we will easily and quickly sweep it away. Servant's broom.
I just want to pop on here quick because that's very good way to end because it's the truth. But the prophecy Donne played earlier today from 2009, April 4th, that's going to be Code Breakers, Prophetic Rewind tomorrow. Very powerful day.
Play another clip of it.
You played it in the compilation.
I did.
Yeah.
I played it a little bit of it, but then
I've got a longer version with me, but you heard it. I don't know if you want to play it.
No, not a way. So, and some of you will remember a couple years ago, we did a watch party here where we did a reaction video, and we watched that particular date. April 4th of 2009 is a really important day in the history of my dad. That was when he first put on the mantle. He had a vision of Christ when he was praying, wearing a mantle, a scarf, and it represented the responsibility that he carried.
Yeah.
And so for the rest of his days, for the rest of his life, my dad wore that mantle like a physical scarf. And many of you will remember when he had the blue one and he was just sending them out for free to everybody, just sending those mantles out. Why? Because God needed a whole lot of us to have that prophetic mantle on us. It's not about me. It's not about all of us needed to have that. Why? So that we would have the discernment needed to navigate through this season right now. Because what happens with the midterms, and that's where Erica Kirk's going to come up. I'm telling you now, you watch in the midterms, you watch Erica Kirk. The enemy would not attack her this way if God didn't have something very special inside of her. And that's all I will say right now. And I'm grateful to be her friend. And God did that. How many times have I been to the White House in my life? One. The one time I go to the White House, I go to the bathroom, there's Erica Kirk. God did that. And both Erica and I believe that.
Well, you've been close to the White House a couple of times. You were outside, and then you were next door, and then you were next door, and then you went. And it's like stages: outside, next door, inside.
And that's where I meet Erica, and that was really cool.
God will put you before kings.
And God needs certain alliances to happen right now, and I think that was one of them. And so, we have to trust him too. I mean, obviously he knew all of this was going to happen. That's how come my dad saw so much of it. So can we trust God?
Yes.
More than anything else? We can trust that he will be faithful, that he will protect us. That the United States of America is not done. We've gone through a difficult time. We've been under attack. It's the culmination of a century of wars. Even longer. You look at the Roman Empire. There's the First Reich. Think about that. This is stretching back very, very far, but we're in a moment where we can deal with a lot of it. And Trump is the president that God has chosen to do certain things with you. Trump's not going to get it all right. Even in my dad's prophecies, what did he see about Trump? He'd build the walls of protection around this nation. The economy would grow rapidly. That God would use him to do the Iran war, Israel and America at the same time. These are the specifics.
He even said he was hot-blooded.
Hot blood. They'll say this. The magazines that will say what God wants them to say. Look at his relationship with the press. So there's been many indications, but that doesn't mean Trump's going to get everything right. Like I said, I'm worried about what he's done there with Syria and Al-Jilani. I don't trust that. And we have in the prophecies warnings about Syria. Russia joins hands with Iran and Syria. Russia joins hands with Iran and Syria. So that bothers me. I'm watching that. Please, all of you, pray about it. Please feel free to share too. You can email me at codebreakers@houseofdestiny.org. Please do that. If God shows you something, if you notice something that I haven't noticed, I love to hear from you. So just email. I'm not good about answering back. That's difficult, but I will get the information. And Jacqueline helps me monitor those emails. So my sister Jacqueline will be reading them first probably. But please, please feel free to share. Because this is not me telling you. This is us doing this together. What I have is a bag full of prophecies. And I've carried it on my back everywhere I've gone. And I'm here to share them with you. That's what I have. But other than that, I'm no different than you are. And because of the environment, God has shown me some things. He showed me Dugin in 2022. Alexander Dugin is Putin's Rasputin. Remember that. He showed me RFK Jr. would be in the White House, just not the president, and I felt good about it. So I feel that's God's will. And look at what, there's been a lot of breakthroughs with medical and stuff having him there. So I'm grateful for that. He also showed me the lion right before Operation Rising Lion, which connected to all of my dad's prophecies with Iran, what happened in Iran, the rising lion, the roaring lion, the names of these operations, Dad prophesying February 22nd, 2014. He's saying, I will restore the fortunes of Zion. He uses the word Zion. That was unusual. It wasn't common for my dad to do that unless he was reading in the Bible in Zion. But for him to prophesy it, very interesting because of Zionism and that whole thing. And then I will restore the fortunes of Zion. My fury has ended, says the Lord. Operation Epic Fury. You see the way it's connected. It's all, and it's connecting more and more and more and more, which is exactly what my dad said would happen. He said, this is how Code Breakers is going to be. It'll be like the weaving of a tapestry. And in the end, you'll look and you'll see the whole picture. You are doing that with us. We are doing this together. And there's going to be times I'm going to get things wrong. You're going to, but not this. We're not getting this wrong. I know this. Because we have had confirmation not only from my dad's prophecies, but from what we are witnessing happen. And what is the fruit of it? What is the fruit of it?
Mm-hmm.
The fruit of this anti-Semitism and the pro-Russia, on the right, has not produced good fruit. It's caused fractures and division and weakness on the conservative side that is needed in the upcoming midterms. Why do you think it's heating up right now before the midterms? This is why. We're being manipulated. Don't allow yourself to be manipulated. Trust God, number one. Don't even trust Kim Clement, number one. It's God, number one. And your relationship with him and the prophetic inside of you. And it doesn't mean you're going to get up and prophesy things, but you will see. And that's all he needs. He just needs us to see the web so we can sweep it up. And that's easy. That's an easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
There is actually a web up there. So I keep looking up there because there actually is one. And we probably should sweep it up. So I'm going to literally do what I just told you to do. But yes, so everybody, don't miss anything happening at the House of Destiny. You don't miss Prophetic Rewind tomorrow. It is probably the most powerful day of prophecy my dad ever had. It is. The anointing is so thick on you're going to weep.
He was
You're gonna be
shaking.
on your knees weeping if you haven't already seen it. And even if you have, you're going to weep again.
Even as he was prophesying, he was shaking. And there was
Yes,
even a
because he couldn't
time
hold
when
himself up.
there was even a
Things he
time when
seeing.
Charlie came behind him. Remember?
Something is being born.
Yes.
That these are the labor pains of something being born. They're telling you it's dead, it's over. America's so terrible. No, I am telling you today, no, that is a lie from the pit of hell. And your enemies want you to believe that so that they can easily take you down. Do not fall for it. Do not fall for it. Okay. And then also prayer Tuesday night. Don't miss our prayer meeting, 7 p.m. Central Time, live here, wherever you're watching right now. Please don't forget to share and to subscribe and do all those things. And if you are giving an offering, just so you guys know, we really appreciate your support because we need it. We have no high donors. Not lying, no high donors. So we don't have to answer to anybody. So there's a freedom in that. We've never had anybody approach us to say or not say. And I think because it's a little bit of a crazy place. It's just a prophecy over here. So not everybody. So, we've never been approached by that, but we have got, some of you have supported us for decades. You were with my dad when he was alive. You were going, before he was online, you were going to those church meetings wherever he was going. And then you joined him online and you supported us there and you supported him in what he was doing. And you're still here. And I know your names. And I don't say that in it sounded.
I know your name.
No, I recognize your names because I've worked in the office and I've processed things and I've done all kinds of work in this ministry for decades. So many of your names, I recognize them. And you're so precious to us. And without you, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Without your dad used to do the $5 in your face offering. Without you, the prophecies would be lost.
John wanted me to tell you that the people who just ordered need to put their full address.
I did tell them.
And zip code.
Okay. Make sure when you are putting in an order on the website, do not use the autofill. Make sure that you type in your whole address yourself because he just got one and it did not have city, state, or zip. And so he will email you because if your email is there, but it makes it confusing. So make sure that you're actually typing in your city, state, and zip, not just the first part, because your autofill is going to want to do it for you. Double check that and make sure that you do that. And again, that's petrowashere.com. And that's for the artwork. Do not use the autofill. Okay, so back to this. Lou has the daily light up there. So anybody who gives an offering of any amount, we will send you this. But you have to let us know you want it. Because some of you will give more regularly. And maybe you don't want to send you one every week or every month or whatever. So click on use the QR code and make sure you click the banner. If you don't want to use the QR code, you can go to the website, houseofdestiny.org. And you can do your donation through the website. And then just make sure you click the banner and let us know you want it. That's for any amount. For $25 or more, we're going to send you this. These are all written by my dad. This is going to bless you. Let me tell you something. You want to know about the prophetic and understand it and have a beautiful experience while doing that? Read some of this. What my dad wrote. It wasn't just playing the piano and the prophecy, but he was an incredible writer. And so there was he had a way of presenting information that was so poetic and bit dramatic, but it really helps when you're trying to remember things and trying to understand things. And so thank you to everybody who has supported us. If you do want to give an offering, there's all the different ways are there scrolling across the bottom of the screen. And again, we are so grateful to you because you are who we answer to. We don't have to answer to any high donor, any one person or one organization. We don't have any of that going on here. We just have literal, what do they call it? Crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Where the people come together and we all give a little bit towards something.
And on
That's the
YouTube
way
and
it's supposed to be.
on YouTube and Rumble, all links are available in the description. So if you don't want to do any of things that are on the screen right now,
Yeah.
go to the
Just go into
description
the
of this
description
video,
and click on it.
and there's all the links of all the different ways. Even those that still support us by check, you can send
Little
us a
mails.
check. The mailing address is in
can
the
text.
description. So, thank you.
Yeah, you can text too.
Text
Text code breakers
and give
and
put in
any
any
amount to
amount.
43965. You can just do it right from your phone. But thank you so much. And everybody who gave super chats, I see you guys doing that all the time. Sometimes I'm in the middle of a thought, so I can't say anything. But I see them, and I am so grateful to you guys for doing that and for supporting us, because without you, nobody would know any of this about any of these prophecies or anything. It would have been locked away and lost forever. And because you keep sowing into what we're doing, there's good fruit coming out of here, and that fruit is truth. And nobody's ears are getting tickled, and I'm sorry if I shout at you sometimes, but you know, when someone's in trouble and you love them, you might shout. Like, no, don't do that. So that's what's happening. But I do love you guys so much. Thank you so much, Lou, for joining me. It's so lovely having you on screen.
I
Good to
love
see you and
joining
have our
you.
conversations where everybody is now almost like we're in a room together. So that's very nice. And Jacqueline, thanks for doing the chat. And
And for those who don't know, I was going to bring this up. I'm not Donna's husband. I'm her cousin.
yes, he's my cousin. And my husband is John, whose website you just said. That's my husband. Lou is my cousin and my sister. So it's a family affair. But it always has been. I mean,
Always.
dad and for those who weren't blood related, they became part of the family too. It always happens. So
Some people are asking about communion.
okay. Well, we can't do that today.
Not today.
No, we
done it
did
before.
we did communion. We did communion on.
Communion is something that I probably would do on our prayer meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yes.
And we
No.
can do that we could do that this Tuesday. I'll talk to Christy. It's a good idea. I love to do communion with Pastor Faw too. My dad used to love
Last Monday, prophetic rewind. Kim did communion. We did it at the beginning of the month, the first day of this month. So if you'd like to do communion now, please go to kim.tv and watch the video that's there right now. And you can have communion with Kim right now
Yeah, I just don't have
from the beginning of the
communion
month.
to have
So
communion with
it's
right now. I don't know
very
what you do instead.
powerful. It's very powerful. So go ahead and do that. I mean, you don't have to wait for us. You can have communion and go back in time with Kim and have communion with them from last Monday. We did that at the beginning of the month.
Be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. That's right, Darmy and Rumble. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Has anyone seen Larry?
Yeah, I saw that earlier. I was wondering.
He was on the chat on Tuesday.
He was there
Okay,
Tuesday. I didn't
good,
see him on
good, good.
Tuesday.
Hmm.
And I kept thinking, oh, where is Larry? I hope. Because you remember somebody
Oh,
said he was on his
yes.
way out?
They were worried
Yeah.
about Larry.
No,
I
he
was
he
worried.
he popped in.
Okay, so
He
Larry.
popped
Okay,
in.
Larry, are
All
you
right,
there? Larry? Usually Larry's here on a Sunday.
I haven't seen him recently, but he
Wait a
popped in
second.
on Tuesday. I saw him for a brief moment
Are
near
you
the
doing
end.
okay, Larry?
Well, we'll keep him in our prayers.
We're going to keep praying for you, Larry. We love you. We miss you. Larry's a veteran. I know he had some health issues. And I've been a little worried because I haven't been seeing Larry in the chat. See, you guys matter. We remember your names and everything. Okay, everyone. We're done. Tomorrow, Prophetic Rewind, prayer meeting Tuesday night, Wednesday analysis. We don't even know what we're doing yet. We'll figure that out tomorrow. But a lot happening.
Friday,
It'll be
Israel
good.
update.
Friday, Israel update. So don't miss any of that. We'll be back here on Sunday. God bless all of you, and we will see you next week. Hello, friends. I'm Donna Clement Petrushka, and I am honored to invite you to something truly extraordinary, the Kim Clement Prophecy Vault. Now you can gain unprecedented access to my father's entire digitized video archive. Every prophetic moment, every powerful teaching, every anointed worship session is now available to you in the Prophecy Vault. We've also enhanced the prophecy database, meticulously updating it with new video content and profound insights. Plus, I'm excited to share that my dad's special School of the Prophets teachings are included, offering you deep, transformative lessons on hearing God's voice and understanding his revelations. As part of your membership, you'll also gain access to my prophecy blog, where I break down and analyze my father's prophecies, connecting them to current events. This blog will provide you with exclusive insights and a deeper understanding of how God's word is unfolding right now. And we're offering something truly special: exclusive analysis sessions available only to members of the Prophecy Vault. These sessions will go beyond the surface, providing in-depth exploration of specific prophecies and their implications for today and the future. Your partnership is crucial. Not only will you gain access to these incredible resources, but you'll also help us continue the vital work of preserving, digitizing, and adding new Kim Clement material to the archives. So, I'm inviting you to step into the Kim Clement Prophecy Vault. Let's embark on this journey of revelation together, and I can't wait to see you inside.